Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope we're doing great today. Happy Saturday. Got a bunch of matchups I will be covering in this video, so be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below to get in on the action. And go ahead and become a member, guys. Support the channel. Love to have you guys be a part of the channel. And go ahead and sign up with BroThrow, guys. Sponsor of the channel. An awesome place to bet with your friends, against your friends. No house, the best place for single bets. So straight bets, if you want to get on this college action, you're going to make the most money out of it. And also go ahead and join my private betting group on BroThrow. Totally free. Going to be posting a teaser. We've had a bad teaser loser streak, but we're going to try and bounce back this weekend. Feeling good. So I will be posting a teaser this Saturday. So stay tuned for that, guys. And yeah, we'll hop in it. Another side note, this video is pre-recorded. So I will make the announcement in my other videos, but I am currently on vacation. So this video was recorded like Thursday. I think it was, yeah, this video was recorded Wednesday. So if there's any line movement, which there really isn't, college football lines kind of stay the same for a bit, pretty much all week. There's not really any crazy line movement. Maybe until the day before you might see a point go down or so. So yeah, this is pre-recorded, and I will have videos pre-recorded throughout the weekend. So there won't be any MLB today or NHL on Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But I will have college football, NFL pre-recorded because those lines don't move really. So I can pre-record those. And yeah, we'll hop in it, guys. First matchup, we got Auburn versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss opening up as a 14.5 point home favorite with the over-under at 55.5. Auburn coming into this matchup 3-3, 1-5 covering the spread. Ole Miss coming into this matchup 6-0, 3-3 covering the spread. Offensively, Auburn throwing for 229 yards and rushing for 159 yards a game. Ole Miss passing for 208 a game and rushing for 261. We got Auburn on a 2-game losing streak coming off that 42-10 loss against Georgia. Ole Miss undefeated, playing great football, coming off a 52-28 win against Vanderbilt. Yeah, I love Ole Miss at home. They're just playing too good here. Auburn, don't love Auburn here. A lot of coaching issues. Been horrible covering the spread. We're going to buy a point just because 14.5 is not an ideal number to bet at for the spread. But we'll take Ole Miss minus 13.5 and then throw them in your money line parlays. Next matchup, we got Iowa State versus Texas. Texas opening up as a 16.5 point home favorite with the over-under at 49.5. Iowa State coming into this 3-3, 2-3-1 covering the spread. Texas 4-2, 5-1 covering the spread. We got Iowa State throwing for 269 yards a game, rushing for 112. Texas throwing for 263 and then rushing for 154. Iowa State on a 3-game losing streak. Yeah, been a tough losing stretch for Iowa State. Texas coming off that 49-0 win against Oklahoma. Impressive win, but I just think Oklahoma is very bad. And so that was a great one for Texas. You know, I think this is a lot of points. Iowa State's games have been very low scoring here for pretty much most of their competitive games. You know, 3-point game against Iowa, 7-point game against Baylor, 3-point game against Kansas, 1-point game against Kansas State in their last game. In these close games, you know, I think it's going to be very defensive here. And I definitely do like Texas. I just think they have a better offense. And I do like them to win at home, but a lot of points with Iowa State. I'm going to buy a point. I'm taking Iowa State plus 17.5. I think it's going to be a pretty close game, like all of their competitive games have been so far this season. So I do like Texas to pull it out at home, but with that spread, I'm going to roll with the Cyclones plus 17.5. Next matchup, we got Kansas versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma opening up as a 9-point home favorite with the over-under at 62.5. Kansas coming into this matchup 5-1, 5-0-1 covering the spread. Oklahoma 3-3, 2-4 covering the spread. We got Kansas throwing for 201 yards a game and rushing for 218 a game right now. Pretty crazy. Oklahoma throwing for 260 and rushing for 220. Pretty even offenses here, but Kansas playing great football. I mean, losing by 7 to TCU, which is another really good team here. And Oklahoma coming off a 49-0 loss against Texas on a 3-game losing streak. I'm pretty sure Oklahoma, all their players pretty much just quit on this team. I just don't really understand it. And yeah, I just like Kansas here. Giving Kansas +9. Kansas is the better team here, which is crazy. Giving them +9 on the road. Give me Kansas +9 in this matchup. Next matchup, we got Minnesota versus Illinois. Minnesota opening up as a 6.5-point road favorite with the over-under at 39. Minnesota coming into this matchup 4-1, 4-1 covering the spread. Illinois 5-1, 4-2 covering the spread. Minnesota throwing for 250 yards a game and then rushing for 245. Illinois throwing for 229 yards a game and then rushing for 195 yards a game. We got Minnesota coming off that 20-10 loss against Purdue. Illinois on a 4-game winning streak, playing great, coming off that 9-6 win against Iowa here. It looks like Muhammad is getting Muhammad Ibrahim back at running back, which is a big addition to this Minnesota offense. But man, to give Minnesota that many points on the road seems crazy. I think Illinois is the better team here. And yeah, I'm up by a point. Give me Illinois +7.5 at home in a battle. All right, next matchup, we got Penn State versus Michigan. Michigan opening up as a 7-point home favorite with the over-under at 51.5. Penn State, battle of the unbeatens here. Penn State coming into this 5-0, 3-2 covering the spread. Michigan 6-0, 3-3 covering the spread. Penn State throwing for 251 yards a game, rushing for 192. Michigan passing for 234 yards a game and then rushing for 221 yards a game. We got Penn State, 5-0, coming off that 17-7 win against Northwestern. Playing great, playing good football here. So is Michigan, coming off that 31-10 win against Indiana. And I think it's going to be a battle here. And I just trust Michigan here at home, getting home field advantage, 2 unbeaten teams here. I just trust the Michigan D and offense a little bit more in this matchup. And I'm going to buy a half a point. I'm going to take Michigan -6.5 and money line at home in this matchup. Next matchup, we got Alabama versus Tennessee. Huge matchup here. Bama opening up as a 7-point road favorite with the over-under at 65.5. Bama coming into this 6-0, 4-2 covering the spread. Tennessee 5-0, 4-1 covering the spread. Bama throwing for 273 yards per game and then rushing for 251. Tennessee passing for 365 yards a game and then rushing for 193 on the ground. This is going to be a battle here. We got Bama coming off that 24-20 win against A&M. Tennessee coming off that huge win against LSU here. Don't know if Bryce Young's going to play. We'll see if Bryce Young does play at quarterback here. But, man, if there's any team in the country right now that, besides Georgia, that has an actual shot at beating Tennessee or beating Bama, it is Tennessee with this offense, the way they're playing here. Give me the half a point. I think it's going to be a battle. Give me Tennessee +7.5 at home. And even at that money line at +235, man, I just think Bama's got to be on upset watch today against a very good Tennessee team. And yeah, we'll take Tennessee +7.5 at home. Next matchup, we got NC State versus Syracuse. Syracuse opening up as a 3.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 42. NC State coming into this game 5-1, 2-4 covering the spread. Syracuse 5-0, 4-1 covering the spread. NC State throwing for 251 yards a game and then rushing for 132. Syracuse passing for 250 and then rushing for 190 yards a game. NC State coming off that 19-17 win against FSU. And Syracuse, I mean, undefeated, quietly undefeated here. Coming off a 59-0 win against Wagner. And yeah, going to be a real test on both ends here. 2 good teams in the ACC. Going to be a nice head-to-head battle here. I just don't think Syracuse has really played anybody yet like NC State that's talented on both ends of the ball. And yeah, giving NC State +3.5 on the road. I think it's a great line. I think it'll be a pretty close game, but I'm going to take the better team here. I'm going to take NC State plus that 3.5 on the road. Next matchup, we got Oklahoma State versus TCU. Another undefeated matchup here. We got TCU opening up as a 4-point home favorite with the over-under at 68.5. Oklahoma State coming into this matchup 5-0, 3-2 covering the spread. TCU 5-0, 4-0-1 covering the spread. Oklahoma State throwing for 314 yards per game and then rushing for 164. TCU throwing for 297 and then rushing for 251 a game. Oklahoma State coming off that 41-31 win against Texas Tech. TCU coming off that 38-31 win against Kansas. Another battle here. Oklahoma State 7-0 covering on the road. Really good road covering team. Yeah, I've been riding Oklahoma State all season here, and they really haven't failed me. Giving them +4 on the road, I think it's a steal, honestly. Going to be a battle. We're going to see, honestly, we're going to see what Oklahoma State is made of, and same with TCU. And it's going to be a battle on both teams here. And I'm going to take Oklahoma State in that +4 on the road. All right, next matchup, we got Vanderbilt versus Georgia. Georgia opening up as a 38-point home favorite with the over-under at 58.5. Vanderbilt coming into this matchup 3-3, 2-4 covering the spread. Georgia 6-0, 3-3 covering the spread. Vanderbilt, let's see, throwing for 198 yards a game and then rushing for 176. Georgia throwing for 342 yards a game and then rushing for 178 on the ground. Vanderbilt on a 2-game losing streak, coming off that 52-28 loss against Ole Miss. Georgia, still undefeated, coming off a 42-10 win against Auburn. Not really worried about Vanderbilt in this matchup. They're going to get destroyed, and hopefully Georgia can run it up on them. We'll take Georgia -38 at home. Next matchup, got an interesting one. We got James Madison and Georgia Southern. Only reason I'm covering this, James Madison making their way in the top 25. 5-0, 5-0 covering the spread. Very rare to see a team like this make the top 25. James Madison opening up as a 12-point road favorite with the over-under at 66.5. Georgia Southern 3-3, 4-2 covering the spread. And then we got James Madison undefeated, playing great football here, throwing for 243 yards a game and 217 on the ground. Georgia Southern throwing for 314 yards a game and then rushing for 185. And James Madison, I mean, there's 5-0 covering on the road. They've been an amazing covering team so far this season, undefeated. A couple, huge win over Appalachian State, a team that beat A&M and beat Middle Tennessee State, the team that upset Miami. This is kind of a crazy game here. And for James Madison here, we got Georgia Southern on a 2-game losing streak. Yeah, James Madison, let's root for them, man. Playing good. Give me James Madison -12 and throw them in your money line parlays on the road. Next matchup, got a college football classic here. We got LSU and Florida. Florida opening up as a 2.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 52. LSU coming into this game 4-2, 3-3 covering the spread. Florida 4-2, 3-3 covering the spread as well. LSU throwing for 247 yards a game and then rushing for 195. Florida throwing for 253 and then rushing for 210 yards a game. LSU coming off that 40-13 loss against Tennessee. Then Florida coming off a 24-17 win against Missouri. Tough matchup here. You got LSU coming off a horrible loss, very bad loss against Tennessee. And, Florida on a little 2-game winning streak here. At home, I'm just not in love with what I saw from LSU last game. They looked very bad here. I think the Florida defense steps up here, and I'm going to take Florida money line at home. Next matchup, we got Clemson versus Florida State. Clemson opening up as a 3.5-point road favorite with the over-under at 51. Clemson coming into this 6-0, 3-3 covering the spread. Florida State 4-2, 4-2 covering the spread. Clemson throwing for 261 yards a game and then rushing for 175. FSU throwing for 277 yards and then rushing for 203 a game. Yeah, Clemson, undefeated, great season so far, coming off that 31-3 win against Boston College. Florida State back-to-back losses coming off that Wake and NC State loss. I mean, yeah, tough against the great teams so far this season. And, you know, Florida State hasn't been able to get the wins. They've struggled. And up against the best team, they'll definitely play all season in Clemson. I just think it's going to be tough here. I'm going to buy half a point. I think it'll probably be a pretty close game, but I'm taking Clemson here. We'll take the -2.5 and money line on the road. All right, and then the last two matchups, we got Mississippi State versus Kentucky. Mississippi State opening up as a 4-point road favorite with the over-under at 49. Mississippi State coming into this matchup 5-1, or 1-1 covering the spread. Kentucky 4-2, 4-2 covering the spread. Mississippi State throwing for 346 yards a game and then rushing for 93. Kentucky throwing for 281 and then rushing for 86. Mississippi State on a 3-game winning streak, coming off that big Arkansas win, 40-17. Kentucky coming off, 2-game losing streak, losing to South Carolina. We'll see if Levis does pitch. I'm sorry, not pitch. Is the quarterback? Looks like he probably is. He missed last game, and they looked horrible without him. They're going to need him. Yeah, on a 2-game losing streak here. And man, I'm really liking Mississippi State. They've turned into just a really great team on both sides of the ball. Offense has looked really great, and I just worry about Kentucky's offense, to be honest. And I'm gonna take Mississippi State -4 and money line on the road here. In the last matchup, we got USC versus Utah. Utah opening up as a 3.5-point home favorite with the over/under at 65. USC coming into this matchup 6-0, 4-2 covering the spread. Utah 4-2, 4-2 covering the spread. USC throwing for 296 yards a game and then passing for 183. Utah throwing for 250 and then rushing for 203 a game. We got USC, still undefeated, coming off that 30-14 win against Washington State. Then Utah coming off that 42-32 loss against a good UCLA team. Going to be a battle here. Really love it. I've been riding USC all season. They've been great. And yeah, give me the undefeated team to keep it going. And it'll be a tough battle against Utah at home. But yeah, give me USC +3.5 on the road. And that's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Saturday. Hope you guys all cash out, and I'll see you guys Sunday. Have a good one.